The winter wind howled through the empty halls of the Holloway mansion, shaking the glass windows as if trying to remind its owner that silence could be louder than any crowd. In the middle of the massive oak desk, surrounded by dusty files and untouched holiday cards, lay a small red envelope, slightly torn, written in a child's uneven handwriting. "Dear Santa, please send me a dad." Those 7 words felt heavier than any business report Nathan Holloway had ever read. The billionaire who had everything, private jets, penthouses, success, felt something break open inside him. He had never believed in miracles, never believed in Christmas, but at that moment, he couldn't look away. He didn't know the little girl who wrote it, didn't know her world, but for the first time in years, Nathan felt something soft and painful beating in his chest, longing. If you believe kindness, miracles, and second chances still exist in this world, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. It helps us spread more stories that touch hearts. The story of how the letter reached his desk felt almost unreal. It was supposed to go to a charity office, letters kids sent to Santa every December, but a mistake in the mailroom redirected the envelope to one of Nathan's properties. The assistant collected it with other mail and dumped it among documents waiting for his review. It could have been lost forever, buried under meetings and deals, but destiny worked differently that day. The envelope caught his eye. Small, fragile, written in green crayon. It didn't belong in his world of luxury pens and glass offices. The letter was from a 7-year-old girl named Chloe, living in a small town in Ohio. She lived with her mother, Hannah, who worked 2 jobs at a diner and a grocery store. The letter spoke about missing her father, whom she had never met. She wrote about seeing other kids playing with their dads, laughing in parks, being lifted high in their arms like they were the most precious thing in the world. She wrote about how Christmas lights looked pretty but made her heart hurt because they reflected on windows, where she waited for a man who never came home. "Santa, can you give me a dad? Maybe someone who is kind, someone who loves my mom and me. I promise I'll be good forever." Nathan read it again and again, each word cutting through the steel wall around his heart. Nathan had grown up without a father himself. Money had come early, fame came later, but loneliness stayed like a shadow stitched to his skin. His mother passed when he was 19, before she could see his success. He built an empire to fill a void that never stopped expanding. At 40, he had everything except someone waiting for him at home. The mansion, decorated in elegant Christmas gold, felt like a museum. No laughter, no warmth, no reason to hang stockings on the fireplace. But somehow this small letter felt like someone knocked on the locked door of his soul. For days, Nathan couldn't sleep. He carried the letter everywhere, folded carefully in his coat. He asked his assistant to discreetly find the address. When he learned more, he discovered Hannah had been abandoned during pregnancy, left to raise Chloe alone. She struggled but never asked for pity. She worked late nights, walked miles in the cold to save money, and whispered stories to her daughter about angels looking over them. Their life was small but filled with love. Nathan admired that. He saw something in that mother, something he never saw in the people around him, strength without arrogance. On December 22nd, Nathan made a decision no one in his corporation would understand. He flew to Ohio without cameras, without publicity. He didn't want this to be a headline. "Billionaire saves poor family." He wanted it to be personal, real. The snow was thick the morning he walked into the diner where Hannah worked. She wore a faded apron and a tired smile, moving from table to table. Nathan watched her gently, place pancakes in front of an elderly woman, her kindness effortless like breathing. When she finally noticed him, she saw a man in a tailored coat, looking out of place in a small-town diner. She didn't know who he was. To her, he was just another customer. But Nathan knew at that moment how different their worlds were. He ordered black coffee and something he hadn't spoken in years. "What do you recommend?" She suggested blueberry waffles. Her voice was soft, a bit shy, but warm. As she walked away, he wondered if she had any idea that the man sitting at table 7 was holding her daughter's letter in his pocket, close to his heart like a treasure he wasn't ready to show. After breakfast, he waited outside until her shift ended. When she stepped into the cold wind, wrapped in a worn coat that wasn't nearly warm enough, he introduced himself. He didn't reveal that he was a billionaire. He said he was a businessman passing through Ohio. He asked about her family. She spoke about Chloe, her dreams of decorating their tiny apartment with paper snowflakes. Her eyes lit up when she talked about her daughter. Nathan felt something rise in his throat. Love, admiration, maybe something deeper he couldn't name. He spent the day helping them decorate their small living room with handmade crafts. Chloe was shy at first, then began giggling as she showed him her drawings. She didn't know who he was. She just saw a kind stranger helping her hang paper stars. It was then that Nathan decided he wanted to give them something more than a donation, more than gifts. He wanted to give them a life filled with dignity, love, and possibility. Over the next months, Nathan visited them often. He helped Chloe with homework over video calls. He assisted Hannah in upgrading her education so she could work a better job. He didn't shower them with luxury. Instead, he gave them tools to build their future. He learned how to listen, something billions can't buy. Chloe started calling him her Christmas friend. But Hannah kept her distance emotionally, afraid of heartbreak. She didn't want her daughter to get attached only to be abandoned again. Nathan understood. He had broken promises in his life too, mostly to himself, so he waited, letting trust grow slowly like seeds beneath snow. One day, in early spring, Chloe handed him another letter, this time not addressed to Santa but to him. "Dear Nathan, I don't need Santa anymore. I already have my dad. If you want to be him." Nathan wept openly. For the first time in decades. The billionaire who signed contracts worth millions trembled, holding a letter written in crayon. He asked Hannah if he could officially be part of their lives, not just as a visitor, but as family. It wasn't a proposal filled with diamonds or grand gestures. It was a simple, honest request. "Let me love you both," Hannah cried in his arms. She had carried pain for so long she forgot what it felt like to lean on someone. Months later, in a small church surrounded by blooming flowers, Nathan stood with them both, feeling like he had been reborn. He didn't see himself as a billionaire anymore. He saw himself as a father, a partner, a man who found a reason to believe in miracles again. Chloe walked down the aisle holding his hand, smiling bigger than any child at Christmas. And Hannah whispered as she said her vows, "You were the answer to a prayer I never dared to write." If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more real, emotional stories to life. Before the ending, we have a special request. Tell us in the comments. Do you believe kindness from strangers can change a life forever? Nathan still keeps the first letter framed above the fireplace, next to 3 stockings with their names. And every Christmas he sits with Chloe and Hannah, reading it aloud, not as a reminder of sadness, but as proof that sometimes the simplest wish written in crayon can reach the loneliest heart in the world and heal it.